Imagine it's senior year. College decisions are rolling in, graduation looms, but yet there's an undercurrent of anxiety that I can't shake. I was heading to take an exam, and this was an exam that I prepared for. It was an exam that I was looking forward to putting behind me, as Spanish was never my favorite subject. I walked into the room and exam protocol began immediately. But in that moment, I knew something was wrong. I went to go put my phone in my book bag, as there was no phones allowed during the exam. But once again, there was an undercurrent of anxiety that came over me, not knowing what the future had in store. In that moment, a classmate of mine rolled over to me, and the look on her face told me that something had happened. Something bad, something tragic, something unpredictable. And the statement that followed wasn't about someone I didn't know. It was about someone who I considered a pillar of strength to me. Someone that I considered to be a forever friend regardless of the distance that had occurred before. Someone that had my worldview, born in the same hospital as me, only a week apart. And to protect my friend's family, I'll refer to my friend as Oliver. And the news on that cloudy afternoon was about Oliver. My classmate exclaimed, "My mom just texted me and she said that Oliver has hurt himself." And in that moment, the only thing that I could hear was the clock ticking outside in the hallway, and how every second I wanted to use to help save Oliver. Every tick of that clock represented a heartbeat of his. Every click of that clock was a tear of his. And every tick of that clock represented a decision he had made because it was too late. And once the news was confirmed, a piece of me was lost and never regained. But I had one conversation that anchored me, and it also marked the beginning of my journeys to understand the silent battles that we fight and how we must win them. This moment was my call to action. And now you may be asking, well, the call to action, Alexander, you need an issue. So what issue has brought me here today? And that issue is loneliness. Loneliness, it's an epidemic. And it's not just about being physically alone. It's the emotional void that people feel that keep them in pain, misunderstanding, and disconnection. And we must understand that disconnection can come in many different forms. And we have to also understand that some of the most hardest battles we fight as basic human beings happen within ourselves. And these everyday wars can look like anxiety, depression, or just the overwhelming weight of everyday life. But we must do our due diligence to recognize these signs early, to be more present in each other's lives. And also it will help us to heavily differentiate the usage of the two words love and like. And I say that because today's society has deemed those two words merely synonymous, as if they mean the same thing. But where I'm from, one of those words determines your obligation to someone, and the other one does not. Because being absolutely clear, when you like someone during their time of need, you respond when it's convenient. But when you love someone during their time of need, you respond with urgency. And just as basic human beings, we all confront different conflicts on a daily basis that deserve our urgencies. But y'all, I'm telling you here now that these internal wars deserve your urgency every chance. We can no longer trust a smile because a smile can easily disguise these internal wars. We can no longer trust our perceptions on social appearance because a social media post can easily disguise this pain for digital engagement. And with the extreme influx of those that feel alone, we cannot sit back and watch our loved ones fight these battles of loneliness by themselves. I did. And millions of people all across the world do. And we have to say enough is enough. And in a world of nearly 8 billion individuals, nobody deserves to feel alone. And we have to renew ourselves about the notion that you don't have to be alone to be lonely. Because guys, this epidemic of loneliness, it seeks to destroy our personal well-being. It relies on the division that is sweltered to keep many in a continuous loop of pain, misunderstanding, and confusion. But today's the day that I deem that our goal is to rise above the wave of loneliness and confront this epidemic by being socially innovative, even if it means you have to incorporate voices that you've never incorporated before. But this way, you will always be in options. Now the next question you might ask is, Alexander, why is the issue of loneliness so important? And I'm going to explain it in one sentence. This epidemic of loneliness is so important, and you should care, because it could be you, your family, your loved ones who are captured by it. And throughout my many years of living, I've kind of resided in the notions that it won't happen to me. I don't have to worry about that. When in reality, it can, as we are far from invincible. And you see, I once thought these same notions until I lost my dear friend. And when his battle with loneliness escalated, I wasn't prepared, nor was I practical on the issue. His battle was long fought with every smile, every wave, every eye contact, and even every hug, including the one that he gave me a day before we lost him. And you see, after we lost him, thoughts just ran through my head of all the times that I almost called, almost messaged, almost cut across the courtyard to say hello after not speaking for a while. But the sad reality is, almost is never enough. So we have to be each other's gatekeepers, and we have to do exactly what we were sent here to do. And that is to protect each other and fight together against these battles of loneliness. And even if it means you have to switch shoes and swap shoes with your neighbors to understand how loneliness can swelter one's mind, heart, and soul, when you leave this building or when you log off on the stream, I want you to do it today. It starts now. And for those that are wondering, so how can I lift up someone when I'm feeling down? What can I do about that? And the answer, it can be found in your palms with these lovely devices. You see, these devices, they enable us to be connected under all conditions. They enable us to reach many parts of the globe instantly. But most importantly, these devices are screens that we cannot hide behind, but use these same screens to empower each other. And most importantly, these devices make us transducers. And I know that can be a big word for some people, but I'm going to break it down a little bit. A transducer is something that takes energy, converts it, and then transmits it to another. So in social context, guys, if we practice the actions of being a transducer, we can move, motivate, and shape positive social energy, influence, and ideas all across the globe with the devices that we have in our hands every day. And if you're out there, and if you're wondering, how can I get started? How can I get connected? Where's my connectivity? I want to say, congratulations, we're connected. But also with this, I want to say, with me being your connection, you now have someone who is committed to lifting you up during your times of loneliness, dedicated to being the person that you should call during your times of trouble. And most importantly, locked in and protecting you from society's distribution of loneliness. But also, with me being that same connection, you now have someone that you can talk to. If you ever find yourself too close to that edge, if you ever find yourself needing to talk to someone, if you need a reminder of why these battles are so urgent and why they deserve to be fought, I'm here. But also, in this moment, I want to be your semicolon. I want to be the person that allows you to see the opportunity in taking a pause and breathing and then resuming to live to fight another day. And also with me being that someone that's your connection, I know it's a lot of obligations. I also want to be that person. If you can't see the urgencies of fighting these battles, and if you can't convince yourself why these battles are important of fighting, I want to be the same person that will let you know what it'll be like when you're gone. Don't surrender, as tomorrow waits. Call me. It's actually my number. And let's elevate each other. Thank you, TEDxClem.